Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CM Trading. Today's November 8, 2019, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the major economic events of the day, just one event coming out of Canada at 3:30 South African time. We have an employment change number coming out. Now let's take a look at the markets. First, starting out with the currencies that have been trading recently over, I would say, even the past month. Trading very lightly, okay, in spite of the fact that we've had major news events coming out on them. The focus has really been the indices, okay? And when we speak about the indices, we're talking about the Dow Jones. And yesterday was a case in point. We made new all-time highs over the fact that China and the United States have some sort of agreement on the works. Now, that affected the commodities and forcing gold to finally break that support level at 1480 while oil remained steady. And the stocks that took us higher were the bank stocks. Leading the charge was JP Morgan to new all-time highs. This is really important to highlight. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, pretty much unchanged for the week. But let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today and what we could expect coming into next week. So we're going to first take a look at the Euro USD at a 4-hour chart. I just want to highlight the fact that this has really been very tight. Okay, we've been trading between this 143-ish level and 160-ish level, which is really a 15 to 17 pip move, okay, just one day, and that's really the majority of it, okay? So it's really been in a very tight range, okay? I'm just highlighting the fact that the volatility has been very, very light with the forex symbols, and GBP yesterday didn't do much, okay? Really flatlining here at 128. I would get interested in this if it did start breaking major support like this 127-ish level. So when the forex symbols are not trading with volatility and there's less chances to make money, I start looking for other places, okay, and other symbols to trade. And then the case in point here was the Dow Jones over the last week, over the last few months. Okay, it has been trading with tremendous volatility. Now jumping into the Canadian dollar, okay, we're trading right here at that top of that range. A 131-ish level. Okay, so if the number today comes out really negative, then I expect this to hit somewhere above here, okay? Because the dollar gets stronger versus the Canadian dollar, and therefore it would, continue trading on higher, okay? If the numbers are really good, then I would expect there to be some sort of correctional change on the downside. Now, we've had like a interesting move the last couple of weeks, and this is what I want to mention, okay? The Canadian dollar has gotten stronger on the fact that oil has gotten stronger, okay? We kind of flatlined last week and kind of spiked after the FOMC and NFP last week, but right now, okay, we're making some sort of correctional move, okay? We're at this threshold, so if we do, like I said, if we do break above it, then I would see ourselves going back to this 132.57-ish level and getting weaker versus the US dollar. However, if the number is really positive with this employment change, then I could see a further correction on the downside, okay? That means the Canadian dollar would be getting stronger and the US dollar would be getting weaker. Okay, very important to highlight. Now, jumping into the commodities, before we go into the Dow Jones, this is what I want to highlight. This has really been trading in this range. We're looking at gold, and it's been trading within this range of 1515 and 1490. It seems like forever, okay? Every time it hit support, every time it hit resistance, so on and so forth, okay? However, the last time it didn't. And the reason it didn't is because the Dow Jones made new all-time highs, okay? And it did it as this failed to make this bounce and then finally break things 1484-ish level yesterday and then capitulating and making a further correctional move on the downside. However, let's highlight this once again, okay? We are hitting a second support level at this 1460. So one or two things could happen right here, okay? If the Dow Jones continues to sell higher, okay, to rage on higher to 28,000 and 28,500, then I would expect a further correction in gold, okay? However, if you see that the Dow Jones today doesn't, okay, and doesn't break out higher to 28,000, okay, then I would see this actually bouncing off these areas. Now remember, previous support is subsequent resistance. So this previous support would subsequently be resistance, okay? So if this did rally, then I would expect it to sell off around the 1484-ish level, okay? So just keep that in mind as this continues to trade further today. Now looking at the Dow Jones, this is the one I'm looking at, 27,600-ish level, okay? If we look at a weekly chart just to give us perspective, there we go. We finally got our breakout, okay? This is the breakout that we were looking for right here above this 27,000. We hit above 27,000-ish layer right there, which was a previous resistance, and now we've hitting it once again right here, okay? But the thing is that I need to see some consistency. I need to see follow through, which means, okay, I'd like to see this even hit 27,900-ish level by next week, okay? And we're only about 300 points away from it. Now, initially, the bank stocks are the ones that have been carrying us higher, which is not disconcerting because it's first the bank stocks that carry us higher, and then the ripple effects, happens to the greater market, the high-tech stocks, and so on and so forth. But when we look at those bank stocks, let's take a look at the JP Morgan at $130 a share. Now, what's a little bit concerning here is that it didn't close on its highs. It kind of sold off throughout the day. It gapped up, but sold off throughout the day. So, it might be a place where people start taking money off the table at these areas. So just be aware of it, okay? Be cautious not to chase this up as it's going on. Now, Bank of America is another bank stock. Hit that above that threshold of 32.91-ish level. But again, I'd like to see this sustain itself, okay? I'd like to see this actually carry through into today's trading. Now, historically, November and October are sell-off months. It hasn't happened this year. However, if we do sell off, this is really going to be the time that we sell off going into November. End of November is Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving to New Year's is usually a time where we do rally. Okay, so keep that in mind just as a tidbit on the back end of it. Now, when we look at the high-tech stocks, Facebook kind of sold off right there. Apple didn't make new highs, hit 258 and just hanging out there. Okay, it surpassed my expectations for the year of $250 a share to 258, so it's stronger than what I had anticipated for it to be for the year. And looking at Google, we actually sold off yesterday, okay, from 1312-ish level to 1302-ish level. It's significant. It just means that people are taking money off the table, okay? Now, it's strong. Yes, it's absolutely strong, but I'd like to see some follow through. So we may find ourselves in the next couple of weeks just selling off a little bit, and then maybe from Thanksgiving to the end of the year, we'll rally. Something to keep our heads up about. Okay, now lastly, looking at Bitcoin. Now, this has really been lackluster this week, really trading very, very quiet. But you see that we're slowly inching to this support once again. Now, if we do break this support at 9,000, then I do expect a correctional move. So just keep that in mind if that does happen. Okay, so a couple of scenarios today for potential trades, but just be very careful because the markets are breaking higher, but again, people might take some money off the table, so you don't want to chase it too far up. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.